With rumors the Oakland Athletics could potentially suspend operations or disband entirely after the 2024 Major League Baseball season, my first thought went back to a video I did on this very channel months ago. That being the San Jose Sharks expansion and the blocking of the Minnesota North Stars from relocating by the National Hockey League. Unlike then though, when it was simply a pipe dream or a hypothetical worth considering, now, at the present moment, it seems like the best available path forward for all parties involved, assuming they want to save face. John Fisher can still head on down to Las Vegas with an expansion franchise the locals would prefer. A local ownership group committed to Oakland can purchase the existing A's franchise, build Howard Terminal, and keep the team around. Most important of all, Major League Baseball and Rob Manfred can put all of this to bed in one fell swoop. It is safe to say with all due respect, the Claxons and the hundreds of other remixes of that very song that are in existence to this day, the Perfecto remix by far the best. It's also extremely applicable to where we stand at the present moment with the Oakland A's and this seemingly endless relocation tomfoolery. John Fisher is going to disband the team, get handed a huge get out of jail free card with some type of expansion draft, and this is something all of baseball is supposed to be cool with? Not only is that ridiculous and insulting, but it's also completely unnecessary. We have a solution that exists that would allow everyone to get exactly what they want.
Let's see if we can't just brainstorm and find some creative alternatives that are win-win.
Win.
So how exactly does this work? How would it play out? I'm not going to go over the entire minutia of what happened with the San Jose Sharks and the Minnesota North Stars in the late 1980s. If you want all the details, the video's in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. But for today, let's just go over the cliff notes. Minnesota North Stars owners George and Gordon Gunn wanted to move their franchise to the Bay Area. They had actually been responsible for moving the Bay Area's first hockey team, the Seals, to Cleveland in the 1970s, but let's not get into that. At the same time the Guns were agitating to move, the NHL was already looking at expansion, with the Bay Area seen as one of the best available markets. Removing a viable market from the expansion process was not something NHL owners were particularly keen on doing, seeing as they were wanting to extract the most from an expansion fee. The Guns did petition the NHL to move the North Stars to San Jose, where a new arena was being built. That was vetoed, although all parties got together and worked to find a solution where everyone could get what they wanted. The brothers would go on to sell the North Stars to an ownership group that was committed to keeping the team in Minnesota, although that did not go as planned. They then turned around and got an expansion franchise from the National Hockey League, which they put in San Jose. Everybody won. Everybody went home happy, including the fans. Really, this was a pretty good solution. No, it's also one that seems extremely plausible, if not maybe the best option available when it comes to the A's and Oakland and Las Vegas. If John Fisher doesn't want his ball club to play for 3 seasons because he's too cheap or he can't find a temporary home or whatever the case may be, then he doesn't deserve to have them. No other team in Major League Baseball would be allowed to say, you know what? I just don't want to play for this season for whatever reason. You think the Houston Astros really wanted to play games when they were going through their Tankapalooza? No, absolutely not. Why does Fisher get to do this? I don't understand that at all. Getting worked up, let's get back on track. Let's take a look at what we know. We do know that there does seem to be a cashed up group with a proven track record of sports ownership success willing to purchase the A's and keep them in Oakland. This group also has a track record of getting a new stadium built, something Fisher doesn't have. Beyond that, we know Major League Baseball is actively considering expansion. And as recently as a few years ago, the league prided itself on not having teams leave their home market. This has been used countless times over the years in MLB marketing materials and how they sell the game. Our clubs, they don't move. It's a cool story, but if the A's leave Oakland, then it's just simply false. And the way they're being allowed to leave Oakland in the most clumsy, insulting way possible is a horrible look for anyone involved with baseball. Look at it. All of the pieces of this puzzle are here to put together. John Fisher sells the Athletics to an ownership group committed to Oakland. He can then use the proceeds from that sale to land an expansion team, which he can put in Las Vegas. That also gives him the time to build a stadium there, something that does not seem to be on track at all. Finally, Fisher's free to take whoever he wants from Oakland to Las Vegas with him. I mean, the way he has stripped and sold the Athletics for parts at this point, there's not exactly a lot of valuable assets worth retaining. This potential plan, it's not some pipe dream, it's not some pie in the sky hypothetical that it once was months ago. This is viable, practical, and probably the best way for everyone to move forward. I mean, let's compare it to the other alternatives currently being mulled. You have the A's going on this grand tour of minor league ballparks for 3 seasons, perhaps even longer, given that there's no firm timeline on when a Las Vegas stadium would actually open, if it does open at all, or he doesn't pivot to some other location or whatever the hell happens there. The other option is just for the team to stop playing altogether, to run with 29 Major League Baseball teams, which, by the way, 29 teams, an odd number of teams doesn't work. We've been here, we've done it. It's a stupid look. It's so clunky, it's so awkward that I can't realistically think that anyone in Major League Baseball would allow this to go through. Yet here we are talking about it. What I am proposing, what I am promoting, doesn't sound all of that outlandish when compared to the alternatives. Unlike those alternatives, which have never been done before, we actually have a template for an owner selling a team and then getting an expansion franchise shortly thereafter. Best of all, it happened right in the Oakland A's own backyard. There may be some concerns over the complicated nature of selling a team, an expansion team, all of that, so putting all of those plans together. And while it is complex, I think it can be done in a reasonable timeline. In fact, here is how everything should play out in order to streamline, in order to avoid just all of the hurdles, all of the obstacles that could potentially derail this from happening. First, tell John Fisher the A's are playing in Oakland in 2025. We know the Players Association will accept that. We know the schedule makers will accept that. It's easy, it's clean, and it buys everyone time for 1 more year. Second, set all of the prices. Set the price for the A's, set the price for the expansion franchise. Leave no room for negotiation, no room for talks, nothing that would complicate this. Just make it a simple take it or leave it situation. No haggling, none of that, because nothing will get done unless you just keep it as clear and transparent as this. Third, set a firm deadline for purchase agreements for both Oakland and the expansion franchise. Have that deadline also include any sort of MOU or details for stadium plans so Major League Baseball can sign off on everything and everything will be in place by 2025. That's it. No mess. Keep everything transparent. Make sure everyone knows what they need to do and when they need to do it by. If it happens, great. We all win. The A's stay in Oakland. Fisher gets a team in Vegas. It doesn't get any better than that. And if for whatever reason it does fail, if Oakland can't produce an ownership group or something else happens, then at least everyone got a shot to make it work. A fair shot. Not this weird, mysterious, convoluted, broke process that Manfred seems more than happy to proceed with. For those who want to say this would be too complex or business doesn't work like that, well, I hate to break it to you, but this is something that has already happened in professional sports with the San Jose Sharks, the Minnesota North Stars, and the NHL, so that argument doesn't hold up. Besides, what is the viable alternative at this moment in time? The suggestions are the A's playing in minor league ballparks or simply not existing. I mean, this plan at least has something. This plan that I'm putting forth with Fisher selling the team and then getting to buy an expansion team, it makes sense. It works out in a way that we've seen work out in the past. At the very least, proceeding with this wouldn't hurt. I mean, it can't get any worse for Major League Baseball or the A's or John Fisher or anyone involved with this stinking mess to at least give this a shot, to make this work. Now again, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Fair enough. That's life. But what's the harm in trying, right? At the end of the day, the Oakland Athletics' potential plan to disband or suspend operations or whatever fluffy name they end up giving it, I think what it really means is that for Oakland, it's not over yet. That does it for me. I am Cheyenne Hollis. This is the Touchback hashtag sell a team, hashtag Vegas expansion, hashtag make it happen Major League Baseball. And of course, as we say around here, hashtag take it out to the 25.